So I like saying, we can show you how to do it. We won't charge you for that. Because again, this is sort of the like supportive role of our engagement. We'll show you how to do it and you can do it yourself. Or if you'd like us to do it, we can have a conversation and figure out what our monthly increase would be to accommodate this.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Palmer. It's the finale of my two-part conversation with returning guest, Andrew Seguin. In this episode, Andrew shares his approach to hiring and retention, why he moved to a 4-day work week, and how partnerships, referrals, and great client service continue to fuel his firm's growth. Let's rejoin this chat right now. It's amazing how much these things cost that people don't often think about when they're hiring somebody. I mean, as people make life decisions, dating, getting married, all these different things, it's like hiring is no different. And many people make mistakes. There's the cost of the whole process to bring them on board, to train them, and then the cost of mistakes that could occur when they're here. Maybe they don't get along with people, or they don't do good work, or, all sorts of issues. So
there's so many variables. Yeah.
So many variables there. And you've sort of figured out how to do it for your team. And there's some really key things there that I don't think others think about, which is you pay them well, you give them benefits, you create a culture, a certain culture there. I remember from our last podcast, making sure people are healthy and doing healthy things, and you're investing in these people, and so that's not everywhere. Yes. It's rare.
No,
that you find that.
We just moved to a 4-day work week, actually. So I made a deal with my team. So we used to work Monday to Friday, 8 hours per day. So I said, let's do this. Let's go Monday to Thursday. Let's go 36 hours per week. So 9 hours per day. And I won't cut your pay. So essentially, whatever the salary was, they still get this pay the same, and they work 4 hours less per week. So they work 9 hours a day, but they get Fridays off. And that was as of this year. And it's been amazing. Like, the team is so happy. Like, they're just over the moon getting Fridays off, right? Working 1 hour extra per day doesn't feel as a big burden, right? I didn't want to go the 10 hours per day, 4 days per week, 40-hour model. I find that would be pretty hard. But 9 hours is a good middle ground, right? You work from 8 to 9. Okay, it's not that bad, but you get a whole day off every week, all year long. So it's been great. And no pushback from the clients. And if anything, clients are just like, I got emails from clients saying, listen, you guys are amazing. Like, that's so cool. Like, good for you for caring about your team. And so little things like this makes it so much easier for retention, paying well, bonuses, wellness, annual retreats that I sort of spoil them on. Those are costs for sure. But again, it's all about retention. I don't want somebody to leave because they're not happy. I want to make sure that as best as possible, we are the firm for them, that they're happy with their job. Because I don't want somebody to leave because they think there's a better job out there. I want to be that. I want to be that. That's the firm that's like, I want to work with because they treat me so well. Like, the job is hard, right? Because I always say, I know this job is hard. And it's nice your boss is telling you that. But here are some really good, strong, healthy perks that will make you love this job. And that's been great. The 4-day work week has been really fun.
I love that. Love that. And do you get to take your 4-day too?
It's yeah. So
I'll be here, but enjoy your day tomorrow.
To be honest, it's a bit of a transition for me. But what I'll say is this: is that because my team is not working on Friday, I am working less on Fridays than I ever have been. Because when the whole team is working, I feel like, okay, I got to work too. I feel like I have this like I want to be a good leader for them. I don't want to just be off every week, every day. I want to be in the trenches with them because I think, I do love what I do. I really do enjoy it. But because they're not working on Friday, it's been so much easier for me to stop my day after 3 hours of work. So I'm not, and there's no guilt, and there's no and it's so much easier because everyone else is not working on Friday. So for me, it's been like, I'll probably be done around, 1 p.m. today. And I started my day around 10. So it's like, okay, that's not bad. So there's a lot of perks. And over time, like, I didn't take the Fridays off for the first few months, but I'm noticing every month it's like, oh, I'm saving an hour per day here, and it's kind of building up.
That's lovely. And great too, just even from the start of that, people having them off gives you time to have focused time to do your work and get things done. And that's now getting a return for you, which is really
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. You talked about scope creep there for a little bit. Maybe that's a good one. I imagine we know that's a huge sucker of your profitability when it happens. And again, you track so many things, so you can actually get to it. Many people wouldn't have that data. But when you do have the data and you've got the scope creep, how do you attack that?
Yeah. So it actually, for me, comes down to the team member directly. So they're very much aligned in our scope of work, saying, here's our responsibilities, right? We got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this. And then we sort of educate them saying, if you're ever doing something for the client because the client asked you to, that is different. Just, we start with a conversation of different. It feels different than what you typically do with that client. Flag your lead, flag your manager. Because I try to teach my team, like, let's help the client out, right? Let's help the client out as much as possible. And it's not a matter of creating friction with the client, but the client doesn't often know. They might think, oh, this is part of bookkeeping, right? This is considered part of our engagement. So we try to get an understanding really early. Like, we're talking about in the first few weeks, it's like we're doing something, and that something's pretty broad, but we're doing something for the client that is not normal or abnormal, week to week, month to month. And we definitely are not shy about attacking that. I say attacking it, but talking to it with the client right from the get-go. Hey, listen, our scope of work doesn't include this, but we'd be happy. So there's a really good way in doing it that's been really approachable for us, is you don't say, hey, listen, this is not part of our scope of work. If you want us to do it, here's our rate. It kind of sounds pretty harsh. We like to do it, say, hey, listen, it's not part of our scope of work. We'll be happy to do it. We have two ways. We can teach you how to do it. So I like saying, we can show you how to do it. We won't charge you for that. Because again, this is sort of the supportive role of our engagement. Mm-hmm. We'll show you how to do it and you can do it yourself. Or if you'd like us to do it, we can have a conversation and figure out what our monthly increase would be to accommodate this. And I find that's been really positive in how we sort of approach that conversation. And it happens. It happens where the client wants something. We approach them about an increase of a rate if we want to do it, and they're happy to do it. Yeah, please, yeah, go ahead. That's no problem. Or they say, actually, it's okay. It's not that important. I'll do it myself. But you don't want to do is just do the work for a few months and then go back to the client. After that, it feels like it might have taken too long to sort of approach that subject. But it is important. It's really important that, and one way to do this, but sometimes it's hours, right? Because scope creep isn't just a matter of a new responsibility, a new task. Scope creep could just be volume of the file that you're not aware of, right? Like little complexities into the payroll responsibility that you do. Because, payroll is pretty broad, and they might say, can you help calculate commissions for us? Can you help track the vacation and sick leave for us? These little things, you might not be aware that it's a scope creep issue, but in reality, it sort of is. And your payroll time went from 2 hours a month now to 5 hours per month. Well, if you're not tracking your time, how are you knowing that? How are you knowing that you need to charge more for this new type of responsibility? So it starts with, I think, alignment from the team member, which is, if you're doing something new, just flag it. Just just flag it to the team member and we can figure it out. And then track your time, right? Track your time to like brand new tasks that you're doing, or track your time as a whole. And then we have that sort of A/B comparison, which is, hey, in Q1, we spent this much time. In Q2, we spent this much time, but nothing has really changed as far as I'm aware, right? So then you can start diving into, oh, we're actually spending 8 more hours per quarter in this task than we were in the past. Why is that? And you can start diving into that a little bit. And it might sound tedious, but with good data, it's very fast. Like you can get that answer in 5-10 minutes. And that's gold. Like that is like profitability that you could be missing out on. It. That's 6 hours of quote unquote billable time that you would normally expect to push out at a rate of $125 an hour. That's like $800 of quote unquote profit that you sort of missed out on by not tracking that data.
Really makes sense, and I love the concept of, you know what, get on it early. You've got the soft, you know, let's bring awareness to this. Do you want us to do this? Do you want to do this? Oh, you'd like us to do it? Let's quote you on that. I think contractors could get a little bit of build a house like, I'd really like a window here. It's like, no problem. It's like, what? I got to pay $10,000 for that window? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I know.
Scope creeps everywhere in every industry, and how you deal with it makes a big difference to the bottom line.
Huge difference.
Huge. And you apply those things, I think, really, really well. And it's those, again, getting back, you have the data, you can do those analytics. My next question here is growth. Like you doubled your business in 2.5 years. And a big double, right? It's like doubling $100,000 is one thing. Doubling $1 million is a whole nother. How do you grow? What are some of the things that have enabled you to bring on new clients? I mean, obviously you've increased revenue through making sure your profitability's there and you're getting that billable. So every hour, so you increased by that, I would imagine, a bit. It's like, hey, we were at $106. We're now at $150. If everything stayed the same, your revenue went up significantly just based on you billing correctly. What are the other drivers that are happening there for you?
Yeah, really good question. So we've really leaned into like partnerships. So, you know, we have some amazing fractional CFOs that really like our work. And what we've done is we've really leaned into the sense of, well, they will always work with business owners. They always need solid bookkeeping in place to do their magic. And we don't create a conflict with them. Like our goal is to like support them. So we've leaned into some like really good fractional CFOs that have become a good referral source for us. And the reason why I bring that one as an example is because if a business is bringing on a fractional CFO, they're typically paying a lot more for accounting and bookkeeping support, right? Because bringing on a fractional CFO isn't cheap typically. So when they need a fractional CFO, they're probably at a size where we can charge more. No, not charge more to be greedy, but our scope of work is maybe a bit bigger. And our experience is really going to come in handy for that client because they maybe have an administrator in-house who's doing bookkeeping, is not great, they're busy, it's all good. We come here to help support them, take a lot of work off their plate. In that client, we're charging $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 per month with an effective hourly rate of $150, $160 an hour, right? So partnerships, I find, is really, really important for bookkeeping firms to lean into. So partnerships is pretty broad. Fractional CFOs is one example. Another example is just like franchises. Like if you work with a franchise that you like working with, reach out to like the head office, right? Because franchisors typically need like financial reporting per month, per year. And if you're confident in your work, well, the franchisor is going to want to make sure that other franchisees have consistency and good quality data that they can analyze on their end, right? So sometimes we've reached out to actually like the franchisor and say, hey, listen, we're already working with this franchise. If you have other franchisees that are needing bookkeeping services, like we're happy to work with them. And a lot of it starts with conversation, just like reaching out to people or clients that you are doing good work with that are your most profitable, right? Ask them, hey, we're taking on a few clients. If you know anybody in your circle that is looking for bookkeeping work, reach out. So, but it's all because of data, right? We know the best clients, reach out to those people specifically. And more often than not, they're going to be your best like advocate. They're going to be the ones going to bat for you. And they're probably going to do a lot of the marketing sales pitch for you. Like our easiest client, and I love my clients, but our easiest client to take on is a referral because they've done probably so much work behind the scenes that at that point, it's almost inevitable that they're going to become a client if it's a good fit for us, right? So the growth happened, a lot of it was doing the same work that we got to the $1 million first place, right? Which was making sure we were charging enough to our clients and not being afraid to charge our worth, making sure we're working with the ideal client. So the client, that is not too heavy in volume, but it's not too simple. There's like a middle ground there. Making sure you have good staff because retention is really important for consistency and sustainability. Because if you're too bogged down on hiring and training so often because they're just leaving or you're letting them go, that needs to be taken a look at because it will affect your own time, it will affect the bottom line. And then leaning into more partnerships that could be very profitable because you want to work with more clients that are your best profitable clients. So really doubling down on your ideal client. Well, for us, the ideal client is not only personality fit, but metrics. Are they a good profitable client? And trying to work with more of those. So that's how we didn't have this any like magic sauce for the last 2 years in doubling. Is a lot of it the same old, which is great, right? I didn't have to like create this new strategy. I didn't have to invest like $100,000 into advertising. I think our advertising marketing budget's like 1% of revenue. It's like very minimal because it's a matter of just quality work, good team, and then leading into those partnerships, those types of clients that you want to work with more.
It is powerful stuff. And when you got that data, like you just imagine we've all done and been with good people that are great at what they do, right? And people you meet, your colleagues, your friends, your family, they're like, oh, I got this problem. It's like, oh, I got a solution for you. I love solutions. And so the people are coming in there for completely, they're not evaluating, they're just coming to buy. It's like, just do what you did for them and we'll be happy. Now with that, you do a great job. And I'd say that the momentum you build with that as well is like, I've had referrals as well, where it's like they come in and they do not a decent job or wasn't satisfied or felt didn't go as I expected. And then that gets back to the person that referred. Well, they're never going to refer to another because it's like, you get voted off the island pretty quickly if you're referring someone's not good. So that's back to the bare bones of your core philosophy, which is do great work. And that then leads to great things to come. And I imagine it's almost explosive for you because you can't hold back that ocean once you've got, hey, you're great. We've got all these business owners, entrepreneurs that are referring you. It's like, whoa, it's like you got to put up the hand probably a few times.
Yeah, for sure. We're more selective now with clients as in the past. But my philosophy has always been do good work. Like that's the most important thing. Do good work, provide good service. Like, because I think that service side is very underutilized or underappreciated from our industry. Like being responsive to a client. That probably helps deal with 70% of dissatisfaction that clients had with prior firms, accounting firms, bookkeeping firms, just being responsive, right? Like, and setting boundaries. Like when I say responsive, I don't mean like allowing them to text you at 8:00 at night, but like when they email you, you're getting back to them in 24 hours with an action plan. Like maybe not the full answer, but like, hey, I'm going to get back to this email in a few days and I'll get back to you. It's like, that's great, but I think responsiveness, but providing a good service. Because I've always had the philosophy is, okay, we have such good onboarding for our team. We have good training videos, good systems in place. It's almost impossible that we'll have bad work on the file, right? It's very hard because we have such good systems in place that work will typically always be at the standard or very close to the standard no matter what. But service is something that I can't personally control every day, right? The team member is the one doing that type of service. So really making sure that I'm coaching them, supporting them, my team, to like get back to clients as soon as you can. Doesn't have to be the actual answer to their question, but just acknowledging their email. Because that service for us is like, has put us into a different tier. And I want to say business owners don't really truly understand the work that's happening behind the scenes, right? I think business owners are coming to us for a purpose. They're coming to us for a reason. But the service is what they can see. They can see the service, right? They're aware of what good service feels like. They might not be really aware of what really good bookkeeping and excellent bookkeeping looks like, the difference between those two. But service they can easily see. So that's something I really try to educate my team on, which is service actually matters so much, so much, because more often than not, they're probably not going to always look at our reports. They're probably not going to really care a lot. They might care enough, but on our work itself, the quality of the work, again, they won't see the differences. We will internally, we know, but they won't see the difference. But the service they can. And when you have good service, there is a huge correlation of good referral sources. So when you're providing a good service, they will definitely refer you more often than you provide an okay, decent service. So we really, really try to double down on that good service model. Even though it's bookkeeping, right? Even though it's bookkeeping, we really try to provide a good service. And that will often shape a very healthy relationship with that client.
It's magical stuff. And you've been figuring it out for yourself. And I think on that core of do good work, great service. And it's so important. And I love the layer of, how much do they care about it? It's going to go up and down, right? Like you said, they read the reports. Do they read the reports? But the service, that's the emotional side of things. And if you don't do it and it goes wrong, that can last forever. Like, it's
huge impact.
Pretty powerful stuff. So I don't think we've ever really hammered that one in. When we talk about service, we've had guests on that are experts in service. But when you think about bookkeeping, the bookkeeping business, like what is the most important thing that differentiates you? It's definitely good work is great, but great service is what's going to differentiate you, the experience that they have working with you. And that's powerful thought for all of our listeners, to make sure they're, training their team or training themselves and figuring that out. And it's like, can be quite easy just to be responsive. So I love that angle on it. This has been fantastic. As per normal, we drifted around and had different conversations. If I've missed anything or anything that you think you want to bring up about your journey over the last, let's tackle it, because it's certainly, I'm sure we could keep going. This will probably could be like 3 or 4 episodes that we've uncovered
easily
already today.
Yeah, I think, I always like to tell my colleagues, just start with something. Start with something that's kind of archaic for you, right? But just start with something. So for us, which is taking 2 Excel spreadsheets and just mesh them together to get some data out of it. But I do believe, and I really, really do believe that time tracking is important. It's very essential. Without it, you're blind. You're honestly blind to which clients are doing very well for you and doing pretty poorly for you. And without that insight, without that visibility, it's actually very dangerous for your bottom line. It's extremely dangerous. And I think just starting with something can really, really shape your firm's future. And that's what we did, right? We just started with something pretty simple 2.5 years ago. And it's evolved, right? It's evolved for my own needs and the firm's needs. But it did start with the very basic nature of revenue divided by hours. And having a system that was easy to track your hours, that's very, very important. But with that data, it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. And you can get so much data and analytics out of it that can really shape your firm into a more profitable venture. And that's what I did from day one. I said, I'm going to start my bookkeeping business and I'm going to be profitable. Like, I'm going to treat my business the same way that any other business owner would treat their own business, which is I need to be profitable. Because I'll talk to a lot of colleagues and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm $300,000 a year in revenue, but I only made $30,000 in profit. And I'm like, you got to spend more time on that. Like you got to like dig into the numbers, because I guarantee those clients that you're probably spending 50 hours a month, that you're probably charging 3,000. You're making like $60 an hour off those clients. And those are the clients that will completely destroy your mental and your business's profitability. So spend time on these analytics. So I have a task every month. I got to spend time on my analytics. I got to spend 2 hours, 3 hours just analyzing the last month's figures. And I then show my team that data. I make a video. I talk about the data. I talk about some wins, and I talk about some things to keep to be mindful of. And it's been great. My team appreciates it. And it's good for me to kind of have a high level overview of every file, really.
Super cool. There was one last question that I had.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't want to leave it because I'm curious, which is your client base. You're big. You're Canadian firm. You're big firm. Probably a big firm in your local area.
Yeah, definitely,
right?
for sure.
Big firm in your local area. However, I'm curious, have you expanded out to other area? Like, are you just, hey, we do this area, or do you have like online clients from all over Canada, or how does that look for you?
Yeah, so we're a virtual firm. We started in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada. It's like a population of 45,000, 50,000. That's where I'm living, and that's where I started the firm. Over time, I would say half our clients are not in the area. I would say they're 4 or 5 hours away, but we are more Ontario based. Each province in Canada has their own unique rules on how it does sales tax and payroll. And we always want to make sure we're compliant and doing the best work we can. But I would say, yeah, like, because our city is small, right? 50,000 is pretty small considering compared to Ottawa or Toronto. There are limitations if we were only working within our area, because there's only so many businesses that would be an ideal client for us based on size, based on needs. Like, we like working with e-commerce businesses. Well, in Cornwall, Ontario, you're not going to get that many e-commerce businesses, but in Toronto, in Ottawa, in Kingston, well, you're going to get a bigger range, a bigger supply of those businesses. And that's, we work with a good chunk of e-commerce businesses in the Toronto region. So we definitely work with, I'd say half our clients are not even, they're at least 2 or 3 hours away that I might not have even seen in person ever in my life. And that's okay. Like, that's, we're having meetings virtually to kind of, to still have that personal connection. And that happened. I think there was a bit of luck. Like, it's not like I marketed in Toronto or marketed in Ottawa. It happened where, like, one person I was working with had a conference in Toronto, and they spoke very well of our services to another business. So then that business reached out. We started at $500,000 a year in revenue for them. Now they're $20 million a year in revenue. We're still working with them. And they've then referred to 3 other clients for us. So it's just like, it starts with one, right? And there's a bit of luck in the sense that you never know what's going to happen, but it starts with good service. Like, we just provided good service, and they will go to conferences and they will do little things on their end, and they'll sometimes naturally talk about it, because it's a recurring issue. Bookkeeping is a recurring issue that a lot of businesses deal with, right? Mm-hmm. They want good bookkeeping. So it will just, I don't know how the conversation happens, but it does happen clearly, because all of a sudden they say, hey, your name came up in a conference we were at, and they spoke very highly of you. So I have no idea about how the conversation came up, what was talked about, but that happens quite often. And again, a lot of these businesses are not even in my area.
It's very cool. And it makes sense, right? Like, you know, it's like fundamental endorsement, right? You know, if Connor McDavid is using a certain type of hockey stick, the people who love Connor McDavid, it's like, that's my stick.
I want that hockey stick. It's going to make me an amazing
I'm using,
hockey player.
Right?
Yeah.
So you get these endorsements. They're kind of like celebrity endorsements as well. Someone's speaking at an event, they're your client, and they're like, hey, we nailed our analytics on our financial side because of Seguin Financial. It's like, you're going to get some phone calls.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be, they're not price shopping, right? It's a very different intake that's coming in there. So it's great. It comes back again, do great work, good things follow. I
really do believe that. Like, it starts with good work, good service. Like, because I'm very confident in our ability to do the good work, right? So, and that was from day one. Like, obviously, I wasn't an expert 8.5 years ago, but I still was very passionate. I was still very, like, I lacked the quality of work 8.5 years ago, but I knew I can make up the difference in service. I knew I could be responsive. I knew I could, like, you know, talk to them and simplify this information to them. So, you know, you might be lacking if, you know, the listeners here are just starting off their journey and they don't feel that they're very confident in the quality of work they're doing today. Well, you can make that difference up with service, right? And then you can get the quality over time. You can get better at your being a business owner, being a bookkeeper over time, because that didn't happen to me overnight. Again, I'm very much self-taught for small business bookkeeping. I went to school in a college for accounting, but you don't really learn the actual real nitty-gritty stuff for small business bookkeeping. You don't. And I worked at a nonprofit for 6 years, which is very different than working for a private business. So yeah, sometimes it's a matter of just, if you're weak in one area, then use the other option to sort of make up that difference.
Absolutely. It's wonderful. Andrew, this has been an absolute joy for me.
Always fun, Michael.
Have this conversation. I'm sure our listener will agree. It's a real privilege, quite frankly, and a pleasure to speak with you, and also to get access into some of the things you've been dealing with and working on. It's a real privilege for our listener and for me. So thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Always happy to be back, and it's always a fun time.
Yeah, wonderful. And I will say you've spoken at our summit a few times, various events also in the industry. So listener, if you want more from Andrew, just a Google search probably, or go into the Successful
LinkedIn,
Bookkeeper. Yeah,
Facebook, whatever.
Yeah, go into the community, and you can, the show notes, you'll find a link to Andrew's profile as well. I know your talk was really well received at our summit, so we have that recording in there if anybody's interested. There's lots there and lots of great knowledge like you've just heard from Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. I always appreciate what you do for the community, and, you know, always happy to be back to talk more.
Beautiful. What a fantastic conversation. Andrew shared some powerful lessons on building a great team, creating a strong culture, protecting profitability, and delivering exceptional client service. A big thank you to him for his insight. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. For resources and links, visit thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.